Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has shifted the local government elections from August 9 to August 30, 2025. Chairman of RISIEC, Michael Odey, said the decision followed consultations and legal backing, citing Section 13, subsection 5 of the RISIEC Law. He explained that the change was necessitated by prevailing circumstances in the state, ensuring electoral safety and constitutional compliance. Odey assured that the Commission is fully prepared to conduct a transparent, fair and credible poll. He emphasized that voters would enjoy free access to polling units without interference. According to him, the new timetable reflects a firm commitment to due process and democratic integrity. He urged the public to support the Commission in delivering an election characterized by excellence and strict adherence to electoral laws. Declaring himself a staunch believer in rule-based elections, Odey reaffirmed RISIEC's dedication to fairness, accountability and democratic progress in Rivers State. Chief Loveday Okere, you were present at the stakeholders meeting with RISIEC.
Sure.
Yes. What is your take on that meeting?
Well, I would say I was happy that we're getting to this point, because the worst thing that can happen to any man or any society is being stagnant. So even if you are coming from the worst point of life, your prayer is that you should move from that worst point to a better situation, and now you hope for the best. So I'm happy that we are getting to this point of where RSIEC has come up to give a definite date for election, 30th of August. I was there present as a stakeholder in Rivers State. I was there as somebody who is interested in making sure that Rivers State moves forward. People have been listening to the media since yesterday, and people are querying why you should announce the election for 30th without considering the fact that you should give 30 days notice, something like that. Now, but people has refused to understand that we are coming from the point, or we are in the situation where there is a state of emergency in Rivers State, and the state of emergency, to the best of my knowledge, is a situation where extraordinary measures are taken to normalize situations. But be that as it may, I want to also inform the people that the former RISIEC that was disbanded we are constitutionally instituted by the state, and they were funded by the state resources. And whatever action they have taken, salaries they have paid that within that period were legal. So government is continuing. Where you stop, another person takes over from there. And now I want to let people know and understand that the announcement for August 9 by the suspended governor was made after the Supreme Court judgment. It wasn't before the Supreme Court judgment. So whatever that may have happened that Supreme Court, invalidated, happened, and there was a judgment. Now there was a fresh situation. We return back to normalize things. The governor then said, now the executive chairman that we are there as a them, whose elections were faulted and they were sacked by Supreme Court. For that reason, the governor now announced a new date for election, August 9. So, and he won't say because the man who was the RISIEC chairman or the commissioners were sacked, the date is no longer valid. They must have been. It's a government. The government has seen that period, that action taken by the RISIEC is still within the law. So they cannot say because we have new faces in RISIEC, for that reason we have to disband or discard whatever action they have taken. So that is not. So the issue of 3-month notice is neither here nor there. They are still working from the date given by the suspended governor, who was a governor, who gave the date as a sitting governor as at then.
Right. So, in your opinion, the fact that according to electoral laws for local government elections, the state electoral body has to publish voter register 3 months before the announcement of the due dates.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. The action, the commencement of this election began from the day the governor made an announcement for August 9. And I'm also aware that Supreme Court, having notified all the actions, the Honorable Justice Endebeli led RISIEC Asadem also applied and has already gotten the voters register.
Has he published it?
Yes, they did. Asadem, before he was sacked by Sole Administrator Bas. All those steps has been taken.
Okay.
Asadem. So what this RISIEC is doing now is that they are continuing from where the other the Endebeli led RISIEC stopped. So we cannot, okay, if you said we shouldn't check whatever they have done as a continuation, then they have to refund whatever resources that we are paid to them as at then. The M salaries, the N allowances for whatever they have done is Rivers State resources. So we cannot be wasting our funds in because somebody changed face. For that reason, we'll have to start afresh. No. So for me, I'm happy that a date has been, announced by RISIEC today, and political parties owe themselves the responsibility of going back to the drawing table to follow the RISIEC timetable, so that we can then bring our state back. And I look forward to seeing the suspended governor and the legislators back to office, so that Rivers State can begin to flow along with the other states in the country.
All right. So if I understand the summation of what you have said, you are saying that the erstwhile RISIEC was duly appointed.
Exactly.
Legally appointed.
Exactly.
That was during Governor Wike's tenure. Professor Endebeli was appointed during Governor Wike's tenure, and he was duly appointed. And even though he was sacked by his sole administrator, there were certain things he had done in line with electoral law guiding the local government elections.
Yes.
And therefore, Michael Odey, who is now the current RISIEC chairman, is just continuing.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. So, and then how do you see this playing out in the coming weeks? Because, I mean, you are aware that there are certain stakeholders and there are certain persons who have said they refuse to recognize the state of emergency in Rivers State. How do you see this playing out in the forthcoming elections, considering that this local government election being held while state of emergency is in place is considered controversial?
The question you ask yourself is whether we are in state of emergency or not. Does the law stop anybody, a state administrator or whatever, from conducting a local government election or taking any action that that would be used or done from the resources? The state administrator receives allocation from federal government. The state administrator pays salaries. The state administrator do so many other things that he's supposed to do as the man who is in the office. He is not an executive governor, but he's occupying the office of the governor as a result of the state of emergency. So now, since the law did not stop him from conducting the election, I wait to see anybody who will quote that law for me. Then I think he has a right to do that. But then, under normal circumstance, people will always go to court. People will always, be in opposition to whatever. During Governor Mechi's administration, we saw it. During Governor Luke's administration, we saw it. People will always disagree. So it is of the citizens' right, to air their feelings, to go to court, to do whatever. So this one is not different from whatever we normally see in government and governance, as it has to do with elections. So if you feel aggrieved in one way or the other, and you feel that the only way to ventilate your anger is to go to court, you are free to go to court. Then if you go to court, if you are able to prove beyond all this double doubt that what you are saying meets the requirement where somebody has flouted the law, then the court have to take a decision. But I'm telling you here there today that it will be very difficult in the sense that the process that has kick-started cannot be voided because the chairman of RISIEC or commissioner was changed. It's just like if Mahmoud is no longer the INEC chairman today, you cannot say because of that Nigeria can no longer conduct election that will swear in a president in May 2027 as the case may be. The process will continue because you are there taking salaries, taking allowances from the state resources as a result of the office you occupy.
How do you see that playing out, not at the level of the RISIEC now, but at the level of stakeholders in Rivers State, especially those who have said, Rivers State, there are those for the emergency rule and those against
that's what I'm saying
the
now.
emergency rule.
People has always been aggrieved in one way or the other.
Okay.
People will be happy that this process is going on. People will also be angry that this process is going on. Now, those who are angry
should go to court.
We will either some of them will go to court, some of them will take order. But what I pray that nobody should take the law into his hands. Whatever way, some people will have the grudges. Some people will ventilate their own on radio and television, just like as we are speaking now. Some people will go there and ventilate their own and air their feelings. Some may not. Some may be willing to go to court, but they don't have the resources. So some will also be part of the election, win the election, and become local government chairman. If at the end of the day you are sacked, just like these other ones, it's part of the system. That's why we have government. But I don't see it coming this time around because the governor, if the announcement was done before the Supreme Court judgment, I will not say that whatever that you are doing that was taken, that decision taken that is void by Supreme Court. But this announcement was done by the governor after the Supreme Court, where the whole thing, where there was a reset of events to kickstart a new process.
All right. So that particular announcement and action by the governor remains valid.
Yeah.
And then the Rivers State elections, local government elections, is here with us. The newly elected RISIEC chairman, Michael Odey, has officially held a stakeholders meeting, rescheduled the local government elections from August 9 to August 30. What do you make of that story and the development in the local government election polls?
Definitely, we live in a society where we have diverse opinions and views to issues. So, considering what the RISIEC under the leadership of Michael Odey, to me, I don't give them a nod anyway, because right from onset, I have really shown my displeasure for the appointment of a sole administrator in Rivers State. And looking at what the sole administrator had been doing, because we live in this society, we are Nigerians. Why I'm speaking the way and why I'm being passionate about all this is because this is a society where I am living, and this is where my children will also live. If we all keep silent because someone had the privilege of being in power and decides that whatever he does, nobody speaks, then I doubt the democracy we practice. So from onset, I don't agree with the appointment of the Mr. President, by bringing the sole administrator. Yes, it is possible that as the court had invalidated the activities, our actions of Mr. Governor, the elected governor, as regards his squabble with the State Assembly under Martin Samuel and the State Assembly under Okojombo and things like that. All those brouhaha happened, and we took our stand. Some stood for Okojombo, some stood for Amuehle and all that. Yes, that is society. And when such squabbles come up, we know that you will always have people here and there. So we followed our trend until Supreme Court, the apex court in the country, nullified his activities and justified the Amuehle-led assembly. And now we came back. The Supreme Court had done that. I had expected Mr. President, who have all the powers, to use his power to call these people to Abuja and say, this is this. Yes, but please, this is what I want you to do. Go back to your state, maintain peace. The assembly, don't impeach the governor. The governor, work with the assembly. If you fail to do this, this is what I would likely do. Announce their discipline to them. Show them the whip. And by the time the president had done this, I believe he will also call the architects of the problem, the FCT minister, to order and tell him, look, go back to your
the architect of the problem.
Yeah.
How is FCT minister the architect of the problem?
I wouldn't want to delve into that because it will drag us back.
You are the one that has left the Rivers State local government election, and you keep doing this. And you've gone back to
connect
where you are connecting and you are alleging. Then the burden of proof.
Okay,
lies on you. How is he the architect of the problem?
Yeson Wike is the architect of the problem because we saw Governor Sim Fubara and Yeson Wike battling over the control of political structure in Rivers State, and everybody knows that. It is on air. So saying that I'm alleging is like trying when the judgment of Supreme Court came and the Supreme Court declared that there was no governance in Rivers State, who was the governor at that time? Do we need to ask such question?
Yes.
Everybody
there is need to ask the question.
Everybody in Nigeria know that after 2023 general election, Amopo Senebo similar Fubara won the election as declared by ANEC.
So he was the governor at that time.
So he was the governor, and he's still the governor, and he still continues to be governor. So except for one. I'm still building on the question, on the statement you made that FCT minister is the problem or the architect of the problem in Rivers State, and the Supreme Court said there is no government in Rivers State, and Supreme Court made that pronouncement against the suspended governor Similaye Fubara, not against the FCT minister. Last time I checked, the person that was going against order of court was the suspended governor, not the FCT minister. Last time I checked, the person who has refused to abide by or who, for reasons that is best known to him, did not go by the peace pact, is the suspended governor, not the FCT minister. The last time I checked, the person that refused the court's injunction and still went to conduct local government elections that the court cancelled was the suspended governor, not the FCT minister. Last time I checked, it was the suspended governor that refused to acknowledge or that said the executive, has de-recognized the Rivers State House of Assembly, not the FCT minister. Last time I checked, there is no suit with regards to Rivers State matter or crisis that the FCT minister is a respondent in. Last time I checked, there is also no suit concerning or pertaining to Rivers State crisis that the FCT minister is an appellant. Last time I checked, there is no. I can go. Hold on. No. The point I'm trying to make is this: when you are alleging on national television, it's very important. It's very important. It's very important that. I'm getting upset with the word alleging.
Okay, very well.
I'm just getting upset about it. Look, let me come.
You are alleging, and you have not been able to prove it.
Hold on, let me come to your question. You have just raised.
I didn't ask a question. I made a statement. Since you refused to answer the question,
let me respond to your statement.
Go ahead.
You have just pointed. Last time you checked. Last time you checked. Last time you checked. Last time you checked. You forgot that in this country, we have an adage in my community that when a child is dancing on the street, there is someone playing the music right there in the bush. All the things you said here can only be said on air, but all of us who have followed the happenings in Rivers State right from 2023 till now, October 2023 till now, knows everything I am saying is plain. You said last time you checked, the person who didn't follow the presidential peace pact was the governor. The last time you checked, But the last time you checked that the governor didn't follow the peace pact, the governor withdrew his court case as advised by the president. But Amwehule and his co didn't do so the last time you checked. The last time you checked, it was the governor only who was not obeying court order. The same court order that he was tricked into. And the last time you checked, the APC...
Which court order was he tricked into?
The court order, it was Justice Omoto Shaw's judgment that actually trickled down to Supreme Court.
So how was the governor tricked into a court order?
He was tricked into it because their case was in the court of Justice Omoto Shaw. And when Mr. President asked them to go back and settle, he withdrew his affidavit. And these people never did. He recalled the commissioners that left on their own. The governor was treated like a small boy that was being fed with feeding bottle. But however, I'm not defending the governor in this case. My interest is the society where I belong.
You have been defending the indefensible for so long.
You don't say that the governor is defensible. It's just that the system was against it.
The system.
And the system that came against the governor is the same system that brought these people to power.
Well,
because we were here in 2023 when election was conducted, and I was a participant. You were a participant. If you didn't participate, maybe you might be participating from your media house. But I was right there in the field, and we saw what happened. We saw how this government came to be. We saw how our former governor, who was in PDP, worked for APC. We saw how our former governor, who was in PDP, though he wrote according to them to PDP when APC was calling him. But I was looking forward to see another person from another political party who will be given such a juicy position the way Nyesom Wike was given. And I'm yet to see. Because
you know, hold on. To all intents and purposes, no. To all intent and purpose, right? It's apparent that your grouse against the FCT minister, will not allow us move ahead, because apparently you are stuck with whatever has happened in the past, and Rivers State right now is way beyond where you are, because Rivers State is speaking the language of peace. Can we just move on? Can we make peace and move on? Now, local government election is happening,
and that's what
that's not what we are discussing, because you had an insatiable urge to still go back, like you always do, to things that we have discussed. Yes, you can not sachets that urge, because even in the next program, you're still going to go back to the same story.
He who does not know the history of his fathers will not create any history for his children to emulate or to learn from.
Should I remind you of our own history as well?
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
No, I can as well go there.
No, don't.
Do you want me to remind you of your history on this show?
No, hold on. I'm coming.
You now want me to hold on?
Laurentia.
So that I will remind you, so that as you're speaking, Rivers people and the world will also understand your history as well.
Something I'm trying to point.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason why I went back memory lane was to bring us to where we are.
The problem I am having with your memory lane, like I always point out to you, is that your memory is usually very, very, very questionably selective when it comes to River State crisis.
Yes, it's
questionably selective.
I must have a choice.
Then you should be.
I must have a choice
now,
as an individual.
If you're educated, you think
my choice is because I am a patriotic Nigerian who love this country so much and want to see a better society where my children can thrive, where ordinary person whom I don't know, who does not also know anybody, can rise based on his qualification and become somebody. So, but however, coming back to the sole administrator, appointment of sole administrator, and the sole administrator coming to destroy all the fabrics of a structure that he felt.
What did he destroy?
Number one, the RISIEC he sacked.
The RISIEC
under the Enebeli, he sacked. Why? What was their
Okay,
offense?
now let's
was the offense of
let's delve a bit into that, because apparently you can't let it go, right? So let's go there right now. Now you are faulting the sole administrator for sacking RISIEC.
Yeah.
Now, who queries RISIEC for waste of resources under Professor Enebeli? The same RISIEC that refused to obey court order stopping the local government elections from holding. The same RISIEC where a sitting governor will go to RISIEC office to make press statements, already showing a high level of bias and compromise. The same RISIEC that refused to publish the voter register in line with Electoral Act guiding the local government elections. The same RISIEC chairman that came out to say that he had the copy, that the documents he had, because I will not call that voter register, that the document he had was what he obtained during the 2023 general elections, and that is what he's going to run Rivers State local government elections with. If, as a seasoned justice who understands the law and who understands protocols, bureaucracies and processes, he does this, and the entire RISIEC holds an election hundreds of millions down the drain, as against court order, as against dissenting voices, and at the end of the day, that election is called a sham. The same RISIEC that, when they called meeting for political parties, certain political parties were not also invited. APC under Tonio Kocha brought up that matter, and there was no answer from RISIEC, which made the matter go to court. It was on that premise that the local government election was cancelled. So if you look at the activities of the RISIEC in the last local government election that was cancelled by the Supreme Court, and the waste of resources as a result of that annulment, would you say the sole administrator is wrong to have sacked the RISIEC chairman, whether it is tenured or not, to have disbanded that RISIEC and come up with a new RISIEC that will run the elections? What grounds do you have with that?
Good.
Is that an overreach of his office to do that?
Good. Let me come back to the points you raised.
Go ahead.
A RISIEC who said that they have a document from INEC from 2023 general election, when INEC refused to give RISIEC the voter register.
That's not true.
Well, I'm coming.
INEC. No.
I never interjected.
This
Allow me to raise my points. You can now disprove me.
This information is not true.
Allow me to raise my point. You
go ahead.
Disprove me.
Go ahead.
Because if you are interjecting, you definitely make me look stupid before the.
All right, go ahead.
Now, when INEC said they will not give RISIEC the voter register, and the RISIEC under Enebeli says we already have this. And INEC was making his statement based on the statement of the court. Whereas the Federal High Court does not have power to stop the State Electoral Commission from carrying out their duty. It is the State High Court that's supposed to do that.
How come Supreme Court affirmed the judgment?
Hold on. Supreme Court can do theirs.
Go ahead.
Now, when you say that RISIEC under Enebeli did not invite some political party, whereas the political party under what is his name, the faction of APC said they were involved. The faction of APC under Okocha said they were not involved, and they went to court. The same RISIEC, you said that the governor went to RISIEC and was making if I may say, press statement. In the RISIEC, prior to the election day, the law enforcement agency, the Nigerian police force, sneaked into RISIEC to destabilize, or to perhaps, permit me to speak my language in this, to carry the electoral materials. just to frustrate the governor. And we know those who are beating these drums. And the governor was so bold enough to say to this unlawful activity, you are not doing what is right. And you come here and you paint it in such a way that the Nigerians will look at the governor as and the RISIEC as being nuts. Now, he stood against injustice. And because that injustice was coming from the power that be, because this is where we have problem in Nigeria. When the powers that be believes that whatever they think, whatever they speak, whatever they say, the people, the masses should swallow it hook, line, and sinker. And when some people come to say, no, this shouldn't be, they will come after them. If the RISIEC under Enebeli was appointed by law, in fact, not by this current governor, but the past governor, who had his assembly intact. Who had his assembly intact. But these people were running their stuff, following the trend of things. And yes, the Supreme Court has rights to say whatever they want to say, and we are bound by law to whatever Supreme Court say. You know that when Supreme Court delivered that judgment, I told you that I do not agree with it, but I am bound by it. And my disagreement with that Supreme Court judgment does not change anything, but I will not allow my senses to be affected by that judgment. And that judgment has said, okay, there was no governance in Rivers State. We said we saw governance. The Supreme Court said there was none. Supreme Court does not reside in Rivers State. They only read the scripts based on facts their lawyers could present. And at the end of the day, we were bound by it. That's why the governor was able to ask his, in obedience, the same governor who everybody said does not obey law, was able to obey the Supreme Court and ask his local government chairman, step down and hand over to the head of administration, local government administration. And that was done. And the governor came up to say, all right, RISIEC, go back to the process. You are talking about wasting resources of Rivers State. Have you talked about the resources that Nigerians wasted in 2023 general election on the electronic?
We are not talking. We are not. We are not.
What we are talking about wastefulness.
No.
It will not be good.
Hold on.
And because a child had committed the sin, following the trend of
with respect to Rivers State, no deflection. We are talking of RISIEC, a localized election. And we are not. Don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it to INEC. Don't take it to local presidential elections, please. Let's limit the scope of our conversation
is Rivers State.
To Rivers State. Now, so that deflection will not stand.
It's all right. So to me,
go ahead.
You saying that the RISIEC was wasteful in conducting the election, contrary to rule of, court order and things like that, I'll tell you no. The resources we are talking about belong to Rivers State, and it was used for Rivers State.
It was used for what purpose?
It was used for the purpose of
the local government elections. Yes. So where are the local government chairmen?
Supreme Court came to say that they should be sacked, and
they should be sacked.
Yes.
What was the reason that Supreme Court gave in its judgment?
Supreme Court, whatever reason they have for
you don't even know the reason.
No, I know, but
so what was the reason of the Supreme Court? What was the reason of the Supreme Court?
To me, their reason is not proper. So I cannot agree. I can't take it.
All right.
Yes, I'm bound by their ruling anyway, but I cannot answer because by God's grace, age is telling on us, and we have watched Nigerian society grow all this while.
Hold on.
So coming to what we are looking at in Rivers State election. Sorry that I am being this, because I just have to defend.
You just can't help yourself when it comes to Rivers State matter. You cannot help yourself. Now,
I don't want anybody to destroy.
Hold on. If you love somebody, if you love something, you tell them the truth. The truth. Hold on. The truth is the only way we'll get it right. It becomes a problem when certain truths are omitted.
Lorenzo, what is truth?
And certain information are being, presented upside down.
What is truth?
Now, you said that INEC refused to give RISIEC voter register. That's a false information. Now, recall, in fact, when INEC released that date, the local government election date, I remember that on Open Conversation, I started a series. I was asking, where is Rivers State electoral register? Where is the electoral register? I recall that I started that series on Open Conversation. This is a Rivers State-based television, I hope you know. Yeah. And 3 days after that conversation, that series, Justice Enebeli came out. That was when he now had to, start, I think 3 days or 1 week after consistently discussing Rivers State for 1 hour 30. In fact, the entire show, that's what I discussed. Only Rivers State. I recall anything concerning Rivers State is stuck in my head, how it happened. I got dates and days. Now, he came out, and that was when he spoke via radio, and now said that the document he has was the document that was given to him, the document he obtained during the 2023 general elections. I came back to Open Conversation, and we started another series again. Why that is a document, as far as I'm concerned, and not the voter register, because INEC has not released voter register in line with the local government elections, because it has not been updated, and the constitution says updated voter register. Much later, Justice Enebeli at that time had not even applied for the voter register. It was much later when the judgment, when the injunction came barring that local government election from happening, and the controversy became much, INEC had to speak. So it's very important that we note that, in fact, the local government elections was annulled on the ground that the RISIEC did not follow due process. RISIEC did not follow the laid down rule of the constitution. It becomes a problem when you come out and you say, oh, RISIEC did nothing wrong, RISIEC did everything right and all of that. Do we have institutional issue in the local government election? Yes. Are the local government chairman or whoever that won the elections, are they to be blamed? No. Political parties, are they to be blamed? No. The fault boils down to the institution that conducted that local government election, taking instructions from the governor of the state at the time. Hold on.
This is independent electoral commission.
Hold on, please, hold on. Prior to this time, RISIEC, towards the ending of the tenure of the ousted local government chairman, whom the Rivers State House of Assembly extended that tenure by 6 months, there were calls for RISIEC to announce the date for election. RISIEC did not do that. In fact, one of the things that we are saying was that they've not been funded for elections. Still on Open Conversation, we started pressurizing the government. Why can't you fund RISIEC? And I think one of the people defending the government on my show said that RISIEC funding, the local government election, was not captured in the budget. I recall that conversation. You were part of that conversation, Nze. You were part of that conversation. So you remember the series and how everything played out, right? And then suddenly here now you do not remember all these things, and suddenly do I accuse you now of having amnesia when it comes to how things happened in Rivers State? Can we just say the truth so that people will hear?
I asked you a question. Say, what is truth? The point here we are looking at is that something happened the way I don't like. First, I will speak the truth based on my perception.
So your truth, in your opinion, is subjective.
Hold on. Every truth is subjective.
According to how you want
truth.
What is the truth?
And that truth is the truth that stands after your own opinion and my own opinion no longer hold.
What is the truth?
And that truth is that our system must be made to be strong. Okay. The institution must be created, not raising individuals. However, let's keep that. Coming to this election now that Michael Odey is supervising, I believe that it is the federal government that is now running. So similar to Fubara, the governor, is not there. Nyesom Wike may not be 100% in charge anymore. It is the federal government that is now running.
So why now, if the FCT minister is not going to be in charge, he's not going to influence it 100% like you said, isn't that something positive? Everybody should go and test their popularity.
I have no problem with Nyesom Wike when it comes to an individual. Look, But I don't want to go there. But
your stance says differently.
When his actions comes in aberration to my opinion, to my view,
your opinion,
and I don't care, even if Mr. President comes. Look at anybody you talked about is a retired judge.
What does that
supposed to have known?
So, okay. So why was an election conducted by a retired judge heading the commission annulled by Supreme Court for lack of process?
That's why I told you that even the Supreme Court was biased.
Okay, Justice Enebeli was on point.
No,
but Supreme Court was biased.
It's all right. That when we talked about that voter register, that we started arguing it. I remember vividly. I was in this show with one Tuesday Nyomasla in this place, and the Tuesday was like, he even said that he had that voter that document.
He said that.
He said, you recall. So it's not as if I'm just maybe I know what we are fighting for, and what is that? Better society. Now that this RISIEC has come to declare that they will run election in 30th of August. Apart from night, when I listened to Loveday Okere, trying to see that government is a continuum and all that. Government is a continuum when it comes to the one you like, and it is not a continuum when it comes to the one you don't like. But however, they have fixed 30th August. Election we hold by God's grace. But the one thing I know is that election, whether the election and the victory, will be contested in the court of law.
All right, very well.
And if after the context, just like Okere said, if those who win by then are ousted by the court, they will still, after all, those that won in the last one were pushed away by the court.
All right.
But let it be that our judicial system should please go back and rearrange themselves.
All right.
Let us begin to have trust and confidence in judicial system.
All right.
But let the RISIEC man who is swearing that he's unrepentant, die-hard follower of electoral process and due process and all that, let it be that what he promised, he will do.
All right, thank you very much.
NPP wins election in River State, let that
APP. Not ANPP. You have APP, you have PDP,
I mean,
you have ABC,
NNPP. If they win election in River State, let it be given them.
All right, very well.
If Labour Party wins, let it be given them.
All right.
If PDP or APC, let it not be one-sided thing. Because this, when I read his stories,
we're out of time.
I have to save it because we will later come back to him if he falls in any.
Very well.